Hi, fourth graders. So you've reached this point in the chapter where we're going to take everything you've learned about customary units. And I'll remind you again, customary means it's a very specific measurement system. So it's what we do here in America. And I've always mentioned that there's other countries that have used it, but they've kind of let it go and the metrics has gone to the most important thing. So as American children, you have to know both customary and metric system. So today is actually changing those customary units. So we're talking about customary units of length. So you'll be able to change that around. You're also going to have to be able to change weight around and translate it. And you're going to have to be able to translate capacity. So all these three types of measurement are going to be in this lesson. So I wanted to draw your attention to a couple things. So we're dealing with a relationship today. I know it sounds kind of weird, but when you need to be able to move fluidly between these different measurement systems, and it really comes into play just memorizing. You just have to memorize all of these things. So the relationship between measurement units can be called a function. So we're going to be performing functions today. So I have an example here in our kitchen, which is a little bit of a disaster right now because it is dinner time, and I wanted to really showcase to you the practicality of working with measurements. So we're making this supposedly really easy meal out of Epicurious dinner rush. The rush parts, I don't know. Randy and I sit here and we prepare a meal, and it just takes us much longer, I think, than normal people because we're reading over and over the recipe. So this is what we're having tonight: brown rice and beans with ginger chili salsa. Looks good, right? Easy. We're adding a little chicken to make it just a little bit more yum yum. So where this comes into handy, so I went to the grocery store tonight and I bought a big bag of brown rice because we actually go through quite a bit of rice here and I was out. So this was a 5-pound bag. And if you wanted to know how many ounces this bag is, you have to be able to convert very quickly in your head. So why would you want to know that? Well, because in capacity, this is actually a liquid measure cup, but sometimes I cheat and I use the liquid measure cup for solid objects, or say not liquid. On the very side of it here, it shows you, it converts it into cups. So this is actually a 2-cup measure, as we pointed out before. On the other side, it shows you the metric system. So we're going to avoid that right now, but I want to show you inside. So on the inside, we're talking about cups and ounces. So on one side, you've got the ounces, and the other side, you've got the cups. And in this recipe tonight, it called for 1 cup of brown rice. I actually did 1.5 cups. So everything you do, you kind of have to increase by 1/2 of everything. It's very handy. So I want to know how many ounces are in this bag. You could actually do this to figure out how many meals you can get out of a bag if you were that interested. So 5 pounds of rice. So 5 pounds of rice equals how many ounces? Oh, so you could cheat. Yep, you could just take out, if you remember last night, this dinner scale. You could take out this dinner scale and you could set it for ounces and pounds. Okay, so on this package it says 5 pounds. It also tells you the metric conversion of that because, again, this is a product sold in America but also sold in other countries. So there's the metric conversion. So on our scale here we have pounds and ounces. I already used 1.5 cups of rice. So it's going to be a little less than 5 pounds. So to cheat a little bit, you can see, okay, I pulled out my 1.5 cups of rice. That leaves me with 4 pounds, 6.1 ounces. So if we were to look and said this, like, what does that mean? So let's do some conversion. You have to have, as I mentioned to you, things in the customary system memorized. It just comes in really handy, especially when you're cooking. So how many pounds or how many ounces are in a pound? So that's what you really need to answer first. And our function will be right here. We have to figure out the conversion. So I'm just going to give you a couple of notes. So we know that there are 16 ounces to 1 pound. And this is an English system, and LB is actually Latin. And it does stand for pound, and so you'll see that. So this is our little tiny conversion you have to keep in your head. So the function here is either going to be division, multiplication, addition, or subtraction. So the function. So 5 pounds is equal to how many ounces? So what would be the function here? Dawson, do you know?
I'm not quite sure what you're asking, sorry.
Okay. That's it's a good thing because you probably aren't the only one.
I was zoned out, sorry.
Okay, so in this case, are we going to use multiplication or addition or subtraction or division?
Oh, multiplication.
Correct. We are going to use multiplication because we're going to see how many pounds, so 5 times 16. That's our function because there's 16 ounces per pound. So that's our function. So this is where you really need to know how to multiply, how to divide, and this is why those chapters come first. So let's go 16 times 5. This is a basic standard system. Make sure I'm doing that right. Is that correct? Did I do my math right? Mm-hmm. So I have 80. So what that means, 5 pounds equals 80 ounces of rice. Now, why would you need to know that? Well, if you were working in a restaurant, it's just handy. There's our rice button right now. So that we're making brown rice, which actually takes around an hour to cook. Let's shut that alarm off. Thanks, honey. And the burner itself. And it just sits back there and it rests. So in that case, the function in this relationship is going to be multiplication. I wanted to show you a couple of other ones. And I keep using the word function because it's really important. Oops, which that is not. Let me erase it this way. Okay, your book, I'm just going to throw out a couple of examples so you get to see them a little bit more. This red is sticky. It just made a mess of the board. So I'm going to give you guided practice. Thanks, Dawson. Number 1. And here are the directions for guided practice. It says in 1 through 4, find the missing number. And they're going to give you that box. I actually wrote a line on my example. Now we're going to deal with something. Yesterday I took you to the garage and I showed you something that weighed a ton. So now we're talking about 6 tons. And we need to know the function of this problem. It's going to be how many pounds. Okay. So again, we have to think about this. We have to write this little code. How many pounds are in a ton? Know it in your mind. Just memorize it. Dawson, you know it?
2,000.
Yep. So 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton. They don't write the word ton. They'll just write capital T. So I will do the same thing so you can kind of see that process. Okay. So what's the function here? We have 6 tons. So we're taking a big unit, tons, and we're converting it to a smaller unit of pounds. What's the function? I know it seems a little bit not intuitive, but
counterintuitive.
Yeah, counterintuitive. Thanks, Dawson. But you're gonna have to multiply. So it is 6 times 2,000. Now, this takes us all the way back to the beginning of the book, and I love this so much. You're going to use the powers of zeros here. So we're going to underline what we call basic facts. So 6 times 2, 12. Excellent. How many zeros? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So the answer to this problem, is 6 tons is equal to 12,000 pounds. So that's one way to do it. Let's do number 2. Hopefully it'll come up that we have to divide. The function will be division. Let's do number 2 here. Thanks, Dawson, for moving around me. So this one is going to talk about capacity. So this is 12 quarts. So this is that gallon guy you worked with the other day. 12 quarts is equal to how many gallons? And they're just going to go GAL. Oh, and Dawson is reaching into the fridge and he's pulling out a quart. Thanks, bud. So, yep, so you see right down here, 32 fluid ounces is equal to 1 quart. So 12 of these is how many gallons? Okay, let's see if you can remember this one. Okay, we know that there's 4 quarts to a gallon. And this is just something, again, you have to memorize, okay? So the question here is asking how many quarts does 1 gallon need? So what is the function here? It's counterintuitive, as Dawson said. It's really a division problem. So we're going to take 12 and we're going to divide it by 4 because it's 4 quarts to every gallon. And that's a pretty easy division problem, right? 3. So in your head, you're going to have to say, okay, 12 quarts equals 3 gallons. So in this case, division is the function. All right, let's do another. So now you've seen multiplication and division used as the function in both. Okay, 3. I'll keep saying it over so you get it. Number 3 says, oh, here you go, get some weight. 7 pounds is equal to how many ounces? Okay, and we've gone through this again. I showed you with the rice bag. Remember that there's 16 ounces to 1 pound. And if it helps you, just write out this. So you have this little thing here. By the way, in the lesson post, you'll see a conversion table that I left in there for you. So you can print that off and use it if you don't have these memorized. This is just something through time that you'll get. Okay, let's go again. So we remember the rice. 7 pounds is equal to 16 ounces. So this is going to be a multiplication problem again. Wait, that's really close to what we had. So I never can do this. I have to do it by stacked method. And 7 times 6 is 42. 7 plus 4 is 11. So that's 112 ounces. That's pretty easy, right? Okay, let's do one more from guided practice. This is today. So you're working with, remember, all the customary units of measure. You've got length, you've got capacity, and you've got weight. Okay, number 4. Let's see. I wanted to see if they'll throw a measurement in there. Let's see if number 4 is a measurement. Number 4 is a measurement. Good job.
You mean of length?
Yes. So they said 3 yards is equal to how many inches? Okay. So they're saying 3 of these guys, 3 yardsticks, and they want to know how many inches. Ooh, this is a fun one. So write yourself a little conversion so you can say in 1 yard equals 36 inches. Basically, it's 3 feet and a foot is 12 inches. So you kind of have to do these things. So now we have to do what sort of function here? We need to know, okay, 3 yards, each yard has 36 inches. Is this a multiplication or a division problem? Let's try division. 3 yards divided by 36. So in your mind, you know, you could do the long division. I don't think I left myself enough space. I sure didn't. 0, 6. That's a 6 down there. Goes in evenly. So, oops, that's not right. Oh, point case there. So that doesn't make any sense. And that's a good way to say, okay, if I put 12 inches there, holy moly, I know I'm wrong. I know I did the wrong function. I love making mistakes because I make a lot of them. And then you guys get to see how to fix it. So in this case, okay, so now we have 3 yards. Now we have to multiply 3 times 36. Did I get it right now, Dawson?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna rewrite that so that I can actually multiply. Okay, so that's 18, 9, 10. So 108 inches is equal to 3 yards. That makes a little bit more sense. If each one of these guys has 36, 36 times 3, that makes a whole lot more difference. Ha. So use, if you get to a point where you're going, what, that doesn't make sense, check it, check your function. All right, I just wanted to show you, they go on in guided practice and they did, the directions change a little bit. So it's 5 through 8 does something a little different using an inequality. And remember, inequality is Mr. Chompers. It's greater than, less than, or equal to. Inequality. So you are going to be using those as part of the lesson as well. Let's just do a couple from this. So number 5, the directions state, in 5 through 8, compare, write greater than, less than, or equal to. So you're going to be getting something. This is 5 feet. There's a circle. That's our little spot for the inequality. And on this side, it says 57 inches. Okay. So you have to do a little math on either side. You can also be thinking realistic. 5 feet, you could figure out how many inches in 5 feet. So a foot is 12 inches. So that's 60 inches on this side. And then over here, whoa, I'm sorry, my board's crooked. I don't have a great little location here. And then 57 inches. So what I would suggest to you in this case is to actually take one of the units and convert them to either one. So you're talking about apples and apples, not apples and bananas here. So we've got inches and inches to compare. So I did that in my head, but you could also, that's because I know my 12s and many of you do, it's really 5 times 12 because it wants to know 5 feet. So there's 12 inches in a foot, so it's 5 times 12. So it gives me 60 and then 57. So you're gonna say, well, that inequality is here. 60 inches is definitely greater than 57. Okay, I'm gonna do one more for you. And I'll see if you get a dozen shake in my head. What's our time? Talk about
15 minutes.
Whew, we're okay. We are big. 16 fluid ounces. So it's FL indicates fluid ounces because you can have ounces in weight as well. Oops, and there's a little spot here. I'm gonna have to go down on this side. And 3 cups. Oh boy, 3C. So you can also go to your kitchen. I want you to look in here. So in your head, you have to be able to convert. I know this because I've only dealt with it a lot in my life. I know that I'm going to change my cups right now because that's the easier of the two. I know that a cup is equal to 8 fluid, or 8 ounces, 8 fluid ounces in this case because we're dealing with liquid capacity. So it's going to be 8 times 3. So I have 16 fluid ounces on this side and 3. Put 3 up here, 3C. So I'm gonna go 3 times 8, which is 24. So now you can see, definitely 24 fluid ounces is more than 16 fluid ounces. Okay, 4th graders, don't forget to get the conversion chart inside this lesson post. Shoot me any questions you have. Thanks for hanging in there. I know it's a long one. Good luck to you. Bye.